Going live on Zoom.
The webinar has started. Okay, Javita, we give them a little bit of time to get in since there's supposed to be a lot of people.
Yes.
So we'll give them time to get in and then we'll light this candle here soon. So I'm going to repeat this a lot since we have a lot of people slated to attend this. But good evening. My name is Chris Bisaillon. I'm the Director of Admissions for UCCS. You will meet Javita Rogers here in a little bit. We're going to do these introductions often, so don't worry. Just a couple ground rules tonight. Please use the Q&A function for questions that you have. Do not use the chat. The chat is what we will use to send you updates. And then I would really encourage you to hold off on Q&A until we've gotten through the bulk of the information, because the likelihood that we will answer your question through what we're planning to present is like a 95% chance. I'm going to go 95%, Javita. So use the Q&A for questions, but please hold off until we kind of get through the beginning information. And we will use the chat to let you know of announcements and things like that. So don't put your questions in the chat, put them in the Q&A. So we'll just keep getting housekeeping items in order as we get more folks. So 131, we had a healthy 400 people say they were going to attend this thing. So we got a fair amount to go, but once we get kind of a flat number, we'll take off. $134, $136. This is like boring Powerball, I think. Do Powerball on TV anymore?
I don't think so.
Right.
I think they still do in Chicago.
Javita, we're in the 130s. I think 7:03. We'll have some more folks jump in here. Let's go ahead and take off. So again, good evening. My name is Chris Bisaillon. I'm the Director of Admissions for UCCS. I'm also known as the guy that sends you all the annoying emails. You're welcome. With me, Javita Rogers, our Senior Executive Director for Financial Aid, Student Employment, and Scholarships. Did I get it all in there?
Yep.
Tonight, we're going to go through just the basics of Financial Aid 101. We like to keep these pretty informal. We really do want your questions, but as I asked earlier, let us kind of get through the bulk of what Javita wants to inform you and educate you on when it comes to financial aid. And then put your questions in the Q&A, please. We'll use the chat to send you all links and updates, and click here for the financial aid website and things like that. But the Q&A is what we will have our folks behind the scenes answering questions when you have them. With financial aid, I think it's very safe to say, Javita, this is a pretty sensitive topic for a lot of people. It can be very emotional, and it can be hard. I mean, just understanding, what is the FAFSA? What does all this mean? What we will not be able to answer tonight is how much money can I get? That's not what this is about tonight. This is about just to give you the basics as you start moving through the process of financial aid with UCCS. So when you want specific questions answered about your financial situation, we're really going to encourage you to reach out to Javita's team in the financial aid office and set up an appointment with them or call them and ask them specific questions. I think fundamentally, Javita, we'll just start with the FAFSA, and the FAFSA is kind of the one thing that helps us really answer a lot of those questions about how can we assist you in the financial process. I'm sure you're going to talk about the FAFSA, but I know you want to just start kind of lay the groundwork tonight. So Javita, Financial Aid 101. How does this thing all work?
Cool. Well, thank you. It is my favorite topic other than, well, we were talking about Olaf earlier, so that's also important. So he's on the mug. We give warm hugs virtually. So when it comes to financial aid, there are a couple things to keep in mind, and Chris did touch on one of them. Financial aid is different from student to student. So right next to my name, I have put in our office email, which is finaidse@uccs.edu. At any time, if you have student-specific questions, or like Chris said, if you want to set up a time to meet with us, we can meet with you over the telephone, in person, on Zoom, on Microsoft Teams. So we have lots of different ways to talk to you, and then we can give you that one-on-one piece. And I do see that, one of the things that I do want to start with real quick is just giving you an idea of what we have available through UCCS. And on top of that, also being able to talk to you about different opportunities that you want to be doing right now, actually. So our website is the first thing I want to introduce you to, because it will be easy way to find us. That picture in the corner is our building, which is Craigmore Hall. Admissions is on the ground floor, and that's where you go if you want a tour. And then our student employment office is on the first floor, and financial aid and scholarships are on the top floor. So down on the bottom of our website, we talk about the different financial aid programs. So grants and scholarships are everybody's favorite. Those are the free monies that students can apply for. Then the other types of financial aid that exist are student loans and student employment. So you can go into our website and learn about, for example, scholarships and the different scholarship application and opportunities that we have for students. You can also, under students, go into the new student section, and it will talk to you about, where we're going to start tonight. And that is, how do you start being considered for the financial aid programs we have at UCCS? So the first step is to apply, and that is by submitting the free application for federal student aid. It's also called the FAFSA. It is online electronically. It is a federal application that students are going to fill out with their parents. And if you click the plus sign, you'll be able to see our school code. And then also it talks about the next steps. So after you're filing your FAFSA, which you can do now, and you're going to be able to list up to 10 colleges or universities. So if by some chance you're looking at schools other than us, you list them all at the same time. And one of the things that you want to keep in mind is that you want to get all of this done early. Excuse me. The FAFSA opened up on October 1st. So you can fill that out now. And then what will happen very soon is on December 1st, we will have a UCCS scholarship application that admitted students will be able to complete to apply for other types of free monies that we have here at UCCS. Now, one of the things to keep in mind as you're going through the application process is a lot of people will say, well, I only want to apply for scholarships. I don't necessarily want to receive information about federal loans or federal work study, et cetera. Or, we think we make too much money. We don't want to apply for the federal application. One of the things that I want to throw out there for you is that we have some scholarships that are combining financial need and also academic merit. And there's a lot of times where students and their parents don't think they have a financial need, but they actually do, because financial need is more than just what the family makes. It's also looking at what it's going to cost to go to school. It's something called a financial aid cost of attendance. So our office is going to create for each student a 9-month financial aid cost of attendance. This is going to be a combination of billable and non-billable items. And so that will give us an idea of just what it might cost that student. And then the FAFSA is going to be creating what's called an expected family contribution. The expected family contribution is income and assets for the student, income and assets for the parents. It's added together, and then that creates your expected family contribution. So then what we do is we take our financial aid cost of attendance and subtract out the expected family contribution that was calculated from the FAFSA, and that's what determines the student's financial need. Now, what our endowment, our foundation office, the people who do all our fundraising for scholarships has done is they've created more and more scholarships for more of the middle income families. So there's a lot of times where people will say, oh, I don't want to think about applying for federal aid because we have other opportunities, veteran benefits or something like that to pay the bill. But then what happens is you may discount yourself from some scholarship opportunities as well. So the first word in the FAFSA does stand for free. The FAFSA will take typically 20 to 30 minutes for the student and their parents to fill out. So I do highly recommend that families fill it out, because that also may open up other opportunities for you through our scholarship programs. And we definitely have scholarships that are solely based on academic merit or sport merit or leadership merit, but we also have tried very hard to combine that with some other opportunities. So when it comes to scholarships and applying for financial aid, I like to quote my grandmother, who told me that if you don't ask, the answer is always no. And so when it comes to financial aid, if you don't apply, you don't necessarily know what you're going to get, right? So do apply and get that done as soon as possible. The FAFSA, like I said, just opened up last month. It takes about a week for our office to receive the information. And then on December 1, our scholarship application will open. So one of the things to keep in mind with our scholarship application, you will need to be admitted to UCCS to be able to get in to that. So if you haven't done so already, complete your admission application, submit all the documents that the admissions office may be asking for, and get that done as early as possible as well.
I'm going to jump in, Javita, on just a few things that you brought up here. The FAFSA. Reapplication for federal student aid, federal form, not a UCCS form, a federal form. And we really encourage anyone and everyone to do it, because it will not hurt your chances of money that you don't show. Like, we have a lot of students that say, well, what if I don't show need? Will I get a scholarship taken away? Like, no, we don't use the FAFSA like that. We just want you to know of all the opportunities available to fund your education. So the FAFSA will never hurt you with financial aid opportunities and scholarships at UCCS. The other part you brought up is admission and the December 1st deadline looming. You have to be an admitted student to gain access to the December 1st period of the scholarship application. Scholarship application opens December 1st. We've got some deadlines on February 1st and some deadlines on March 1st. You have to be admitted to get in there to do that. Currently, we're running about 3 to 4 weeks on our admission decision turnaround. So if you've gotten everything to us and you know it's been complete for 3 or 4 weeks, let us know. Email go@uccs.edu and we'll check on your application status. But again, make sure you know we've gotten everything. You may have applied 4 weeks ago, but if we just got your transcript on Monday, that's when the 3 to 4 week window starts for us. So you're welcome to email go@uccs.edu and we'll check on your application status there. The big thing is just make sure we've got your transcripts. That's really the thing that will hold everything up, is transcripts. So we just reminded about FAFSA. We talked a little bit about the application process. Javita, what's our next fun part?
What is our next fun part? I guess the biggest one has to do with any type of opportunities that may be coming up based on your current high school GPA, and if you have taken test scores, that will also be reported. But we also have what we call some automatic admission awards. And Chris, would you like to talk about them or would you like me to?
Well, since you make me do it, I guess I'll talk about it. I do want to pin on one thing you said, though. We are test optional. And I think that's a really important reminder. Test optional. We do not require the ACT or the SAT for any undergraduate student coming in. If you have it, send it in. It can always help, because it can help in automatically getting some of these merit scholarship or these merit awards. She doesn't want me to call them scholarships anymore, so I got to change that up here. Merit awards that we disperse. So for my Colorado students listening, the Chancellor's Award is $2,500 a year for 4 years. So it's a $10,000 total award. We award that to students that are admitted by, usually kind of a April 1, May 1, that kind of determines how much money we get to work with. But April 1st is really the best date to work with. Automatically, to get it, have a 3.0 GPA and at least a 23 or an 1130 on the test. So 23 ACT or 1130 on the test. I'm going to talk about the test optional part here in just a second. For my non-resident students, and my non-resident specifically not WUI state students. So WUI is a tuition discount that automatically applies to admitted students from states like California, Arizona, New Mexico, Washington, Oregon, Hawaii, Nevada, Wyoming, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota. Great places, that's where I'm from. Missing one in there. What am I missing? Idaho, Guam is in there, the Marshallese Islands, the Commonwealth, the Marianas Islands. I think I got them all. I think I'm forgetting one. I'm forgetting one. Vanessa's going to tell me too of which one I'm forgetting. You're getting the natural WUI discount already. So currently, we don't have merit awards on top of the WUI discount. Currently, we don't do that. It's a wink on that. But for my non-resident students or anyone really coming from the East, Texas, Illinois, Minnesota, Missouri, Kansas, Nebraska, I think you're getting the eastern part of my point.
Virginia, let's not forget
Virginia. I mean, you're Virginia, but you're Canadian. So it's very, very confusing with you. For those Eastern state students, similar criteria for what we call the Peak Award. The Peak Award is $6,250 a year, $25,000 total over 4 years. And again, 3.0 GPA minimum, 23 ACT, 1130 on the SAT automatically gets you that award. If you don't have a test, because not a lot of students are taking tests right now, that's okay. We have a merit alternate review that we will send our non-SAT or ACT students a form to fill out. It just is a deeper dive into what you've been doing academically in school. So it's going to measure things like your honors courses, your AP courses, IB courses, dual enrollment, and put weight on that to say, oh, no brainer here. This person checks off a lot of those boxes, or this person has a ton of dual enrollment, or this person is doing a ton of AP on top of their GPA. That alternate review is how you get the award. That review is done by not me and not Javita, because I would give all her money away and then she would yell at me. She yells at me for enough. So I don't want to start that. So we have an alternate committee that reviews these, and we will start this whole process here about our merit review in the next probably 2 weeks, Javita. Mm-hmm. And so that's the criteria for a freshman student coming in. We also award chancellors and peak scholarships to transfer students. So if you're a transfer student transferring to UCCS and you have at least a 3.0 GPA transferring on at least 24 hours taken after high school, and I'll repeat that again, if you have a 3.0 GPA at your college on at least 24 hours completed after high school, then we will award you the scholarship. So no test, no alternate review for a transfer student. It's actually a lot easier. Transfer students are also eligible for WUI tuition, and we apply that upon admission. The one caveat to WUI, and this is for both for freshmen and transfers, is if you're a nursing student from one of the WUI states, you don't get WUI. The nursing program doesn't participate in WUI. It's the only program at UCCS that doesn't do WUI. So then you do qualify for the peak award. So we work all that out on our end. There's nothing special you all need to do. We award the awards. We code the tuition rate for WUI. We do all of that. There's nothing extra you need to do. The important thing you all need to do, apply. Apply, get us your stuff. Let us do our part, getting you processed in the system, getting you set for all these other deadlines that are coming. Because, you know, we don't, I hope what you take away from tonight is that while this may seem a bit of a daunting financial process, if you really just meet the deadlines, do the forms, get us your stuff, it gets a lot easier for you all. So the merit awards thing, we're going to take care of that. We're going to let you know. If you think we missed you, let me know. Email us at the Go account, go@uccs.edu, and I'll take a look at it myself. But we will start doing this merit award processing with admitted students here, ideally before Thanksgiving. We're working out a few new processes with the brand new admission system. So it's a big learning curve. It's been fun, Javita.
So just to reiterate, because there were a couple questions about the merit awards through admissions. So those are ones that students will receive notifications from the admissions office. If they are a Colorado resident, they would be considered for the Chancellor's Award. And then if they're an out-of-state student, but not in the WUI classification, so the Western Undergraduate Education states, they would be considered for the peak awards. At this point in time, we don't have a specific admissions merit for WUI. It's always something that we're trying to consider, but right now we don't. If anything does come available, the admissions office, namely Chris, will reach out to those WUI students.
I've been working on this thing for years. This is my year. I'm going to get it this year. They're going to give it to me. I hope. I really hope. Whoa. Haley Rodriguez just dropped like one of my favorite scholars programs on top of the Kane Scholarship. Javita, do you want to highlight a few of the, let's just call them big ticket items when it comes to scholarships? Yeah. Let's start with in-state.
Yeah, so for our in-state students, so our Colorado residents, we have a few very large scholarship opportunities. When I say large, it is that the money is great. So we have programs such as the Reicher Scholarship Program. We have the Kane Family Scholarship Program. We have the Betcher Scholarship Program, which is not applied for through us, but you would apply for separately and be considered here at UCCS. So those scholarships, again, the scholarship application opens up December 1. Those merit scholarship programs, those are going to have a deadline of February 1st. We also have an internal program called the Chancellor's Leadership Class, also known as CLC. So that's another one of those programs, and that also will have a February 1st deadline. So you want to, again, apply early for those scholarships. Number one, it is something that as you get into the spring semester of your senior year, you're going to be a little preoccupied with all your senior year stuff. So winter break that you get is a prime time to be doing your scholarship application. If you haven't done it already, your FAFSA, you know, although the winter break time is what, you know, my family refers to as forced family fun. We also have times to apply for scholarships. So you can get all those done. And then when you start your last semester of your senior year, you don't have to worry about any of that. It'll already be done, and we'll start reaching out to students early after that deadline to be able to get information about those opportunities. But yes, we have a lot of great programs available. So definitely apply. And, you know, one of the nice things that is with our scholarship application, it is tied to your admissions information. So we already know that you are interested in cybersecurity or you're interested in business. And so it'll match you up with that. And then we also have a general scholarship application process because we also have funding that is available that we can offer students as well. So it matches you up with those opportunities, so you don't have to necessarily apply for every single one individually. So it does make it very easy.
Did you talk about the presidential non-resident while I was typing some answers?
I did not.
All right, I will. You talked a lot. All right, so even though we have this distinction between WUI and non-resident for these scholarship purposes, the presidential non-resident scholarship is open to all out of Colorado students. Transfers, I believe you are eligible as well, but freshmen, you definitely are. So what this scholarship is it's a tuition rate. So for those who are familiar with WUI, the Western Undergraduate Exchange, that is a 150% tuition rate of the in-state rate. So 150, so 50% more than what the Colorado students pay. The Presidential Non-Resident Award is 110% of the in-state rate, so just 10% more. It's the closest that an out-of-state student can get to in-state tuition. We award, Javita, I would say maybe about 48 of these a year. I know as someone who sits on this committee, sometimes we only have like 100 to 110 students applying for this award. So you almost have a coin flip chance of getting it. We award in categories like achievement in leadership, arts, science, or athletics. And so it's a really great opportunity for you as a student to say, well, here's what I've done in the world of leadership in my high school and my community. Here's what I've done in science. Here's what I've done in art. And we have faculty that sit on this review committee with us as well. And the faculty are the ones that are judging like what you've done with art and your achievements in. If you're putting a dollar amount on this award, it's somewhere in the range of $40,000 plus over 4 years. It's about a 10,000-ish or so, discount on the student tuition. So it is something to really, really shoot for when you're looking at these awards. I can't stress enough, apply. I was on this committee a few years ago and we had 80 students apply and we were giving out 48. And I think we ended up going 52 because we were kind of tied on about 4 students. That's the general theme I hope you're taking away from this tonight, is just go through the process. Go through the process. It's not challenging. It's not hard. If you stumble a little bit, we've got folks that will help you through that. And we've got folks that can walk you through the FAFSA if you need that assistance. A lot of your local schools, hopefully in your areas, are doing financial aid nights. If you're on campus doing a tour and you couldn't make one of those, we'll take you up to the financial aid office. One of the financial aid counselors can assist you with that process. I'm not going to write your scholarship essays for you. I'm an amazing writer, amazing, but I can't do that for you. And I will warn you, students, make sure you're writing your essays for you, because for the big ticket items where essays are required, if someone that's not you is writing those things, it's going to play itself out really fast. And I'm not saying a parent at all would ever write an essay for a student. I'm not saying that. That has never happened in the history of college, ever. But you get found out real quick. For students, just be you. That's what got you this far, and that's what's going to continue to get to amazing places. So give yourself those chances. So Presidential Non-Resident Scholarship, all my out-of-state students on here, please do it. Take a chance. You really never know what can happen. Javita, we talk a lot about just trying in general. The FAFSA, putting yourself out there for scholarships, things like that. Work study, jobs on campus are a really big question that a lot of students have, and a lot of just in general. I have jobs in college. I loved working on campus in college. It was great for me for a number of reasons. UCCS has, I think the last number I quoted you at was about 1,800 plus jobs on campus. Some of those are work study. Some of those are student hourly. Student hourly, I will explain. Javita, I'm going to give you work study to explain. Student hourly is you are just hired by a department to work for them, and they pay you out of their budget. We really love work study students. And why do we love work study students, Javita?
Well, because we're receiving matching funds from the state of Colorado as well as the federal government to help with the state work study, and federal work study programs. So essentially, we can hire more students when we have work study funds available with students. But, you know, we have a combination of both. I have about 30 students throughout our offices, and we have probably half and half at this point. Of half of our students are in one type of work study, others are hourly out of our budget. So student employment is a great way to be connected. Some of the people who are answering these questions absolutely wonderfully are student employees. I was a student employee in both admissions and financial aid offices, so I am a little biased about student employment. One of the other nice benefits about student employment is that we do know students are students first. So for example, like I said, I have about 30 students. During midterms and finals, I have pretty much zero because they are studying for their finals or midterms. And that's something that we're very flexible about. So it does give students the opportunity. And if you're commuting to campus by any chance, it also means that you don't have to move your car and lose your parking spot in between classes. So we have lots of students who will work in between their class schedules on campus. So it is a great program. And like Chris said, currently we have about 1,800 students on work study. You know, a year and a half ago, we had 2,188 students on work study, so and student employment. So it is something that a lot of students will partake in. Most students are working 10 to 15 hours a week. During winter breaks and summer, they can work up to full time. So it's a nice opportunity for students, and it's a great way to be connected, to the university as well.
Yeah, and we only allow students to work a maximum of 25 hours a week. Again, putting that capital student in student worker. There's been questions on jobs and a question like, are there some students doing remote jobs? Really depends on the job, really depends on the department. When we were essentially a remote campus, we were still employing our student workers and they were working remotely. I wanna add in just one last thing, and I don't mean to embarrass her, but you can't see her anyways because she's in the background of it all. But like Emma's one of our student workers. When Emma's having a bad day, which is rare, but it can happen, like we can check in with her and see if things are going well. People have bad days, people have rough weeks, and that's fine. But when people have consistent rough days or rough weeks, that's where we can really step in and say, what kind of help and support do you need? Do you need some time off? Do you need to talk to somebody about things beyond us? I think the added level of support that a student that works on campus gets is invaluable. And we have told our students, you need to take a break, you need to slow down, you need to rethink about this, you need to think about that. And I think, and I hope that students recognize, and I hope they feel when they're on campus that we really care. We really want you to succeed in what you came to UCCS to do. You didn't come to UCCS to work at the front desk of the admissions office, but it's a huge benefit to us that you do. And we want to return that support in helping you achieve your goals or helping you kind of work through problems, whether they're school related, personal related, whatever they may be. And so we really add that level of care and support for any student, regardless if you live on campus, off campus, in state, out of state. I can't speak enough about working on campus. It really can open up a world you never realized. I worked in my admissions office when I was in college, and that's what led me to my career. I can tell you of countless students who work at the rec center who want to make collegiate rec centers their career. You really never know what it can teach you. And so give it some serious consideration when you hopefully you come to UCCS, but wherever you go, really look into it as a more support than just dollars. It can really be a lot. So, all right, we tackled that. All right, Javita, we've talked about FAFSA, talked about scholarships, we talked about merit awards, talked about work study. We've talked about every aspect of, we've shown them where your office is at. Javita's office is like literally directly above her head, top floor, fancy. Mine's in the corner in the basement. I think we've covered it all. We've talked about deadlines. Just to recap, Scholarship application opens on December 1st, as does the housing application for UCCS. You have to be admitted to get into those two systems. It's taken us about 3 to 4 weeks to turn around completed applications right now. And we're getting faster every day. Deadlines that will be approaching quickly. February 1st is kind of the day for those big ticket items. So Kane Scholarship, Presidential Non-Resident, Chancellor's Leadership Class, things like that. March 1st is the deadline for almost all other scholarships and the priority date for the FAFSA. Javita, I think the other thing I always talk about when it comes to FAFSA, just to kind of reiterate why we think it's so important, is that a student's financial situation or a family's financial situation can change at the drop of a hat. You know, years ago, we always used this point in time. Hewlett-Packard was a huge operation in Colorado Springs, and people had really great paying jobs. They loved living in the Springs, and all of a sudden, Hewlett-Packard said, we're moving to New Mexico. And a lot of those jobs went with them. People that didn't fill out the FAFSA that said, we make too much money, we're not going to do it, couldn't get as much financial aid support as the people that did fill out the FAFSA on time and say, well, you know, rainy days happen and you never know when it's going to rain. Really do it. I think it'd be too obvious to say the pandemic also caused very similar situations where people's financial situation changed. So doing the FAFSA just lets us give you the options. You don't have to accept the loans. You don't have to do those types of things. As someone who took out loans to pay for their undergraduate and graduate careers, it was my choice to go to college. I had to take out the loans. It's what I needed to do. And I got a great job to pay those things off. So really would encourage you to not overlook the FAFSA process. Don't take the loans if you don't want to, but at least you know you have them just in case. Just in case.
Correct. And the FAFSA is based on income from 2 years back. So it is something that definitely, especially with the COVID situation, lots of families and their students have experienced changes. So we have an appeal process called a special circumstance appeal that after you receive your initial financial aid notification, and we start sending those out in the middle of February, and every week, from then on, but those who do it early, you'll hear from us early. And that'll give you the opportunity to hear from all the schools you're applying to, and be able to make a good decision about what's best. But we have that appeal just because things do change. And so even if something doesn't change right now, but it changes in July, you can do that appeal even throughout the academic year. So know that there's always that opportunity to reach out to the financial aid office and let us take into account any changes that the family has gone through.
One thing that just popped in my head that I always get confused on. Javita, what's the difference between subsidized and unsubsidized again?
Oh, good question, Christopher. So when it comes to federal student loans, there are two types of federal student loans. There's a subsidized loan, and that is a loan where the government is paying the interest from the time the student borrows the loan until 6 months after they graduate or drop below half time, which is 6 credit hours, not including summer. And the second type of loan is an unsubsidized. So that's where the government is not paying the interest on the loan. Students have the opportunity to pay the interest while they're in school, or somebody else can pay the interest for them if that person is so inclined, like a parent or other relative. If they don't, that is not an issue. What will happen is when they start repaying their loan, which again is 6 months after they graduate or drop below half-time, not including summer, then what will happen is the interest will be added to the principal of that loan. If a student has a subsidized loan, for example, goes on to graduate school, that loan continues to be interest-free while the student is in grad school or, medical school or dental school. So that is a great opportunity for students to be able to take out an interest-free loan while they're in school. No one wants to get in debt like Chris was talking about earlier, but it's much better to have a low interest federal loan than it is, for example, to put that tuition cost or housing cost on a credit card for. So it is definitely an opportunity. And again, you don't have to accept anything that is offered through the FAFSA, but it is something that will always be available to the student.
All right. I think we kind of hit our time. We're working through, Javita, if you want to answer Jan's question, that will knock out everything else.
Okay. Yes. So if you're filing the FAFSA so if you're going to be a spring, what year? Spring 22 student, you're going to be filing the 2021-2022 FAFSA, and that's going to be using 2019 income. If you're filing for the 22-23 academic year, that's going to be using the 2020 income. Okay.
And I think with some of these other questions here, how many scholarships can be accepted, things like that. With UCCS scholarships, you can accept as many until the bill is paid. You don't make money from UCCS scholarships is probably the best way of putting it, Javita. But if you get private scholarships outside of UCCS, that can keep stacking on top of certain things. And then private money is what you earned on your own. We don't have any right to that. That can go to your own expenses or that can go to your bills. So those private dollars just depends on how they want to disperse it. Do they want to give it to you? Do they want to give it to us? They want to give it to us. Send cash to Javita. She will totally take care of it. She's very honorable. But yeah, there's different nuances, those private scholarships. But for UCCS scholarships, kind of once the bill is paid, you kind of accomplished it all. Tristan asks, if a non-traditional student, is there an age threshold for eliminating the expected parent contribution?
Yes, so on the FAFSA, there's a series of what's called student status questions. If you can answer yes to any of those, then parent information is not required. So age-wise, it's that you're over 24, or if you're a veteran of the armed forces, if you're a graduate student, if you have a dependent other than a spouse that you provide over half the support for, or if you're married or an orphan or a ward of the court. So any of those will give you tell you that you do not need to list parental information on the FAFSA.
Again, the nuances of your situation is something that can't be encapsulated in a Zoom Q&A. So definitely set up time with Javita's team to talk about your unique situation. A thing that's not unique for us though is military benefits. We have a full veterans and military office that works with active duty, with veteran, with dependents, on using all the various different chapters and GI bills and things like that. Even prior to our orientation sessions, when students actually register for courses, we have a session where you can learn about that and how to take advantage of that. That's really nothing that students need to do right now with their benefits. It kind of comes closer to the enrollment time for classes. So we're very familiar with that, very nuanced with that. So that's just another layer when it comes to paying for UCCS. Wrapping up the questions here, Javita, any last minute tips, advice you would like to give to these fine folks who joined us?
The biggest one has to do with the idea that you're not in it alone. I do have families and students all the time who will start an email with, "Oh, I hate to bother you," kind of thing. Please bother me. We are here to help you through this process. Financial aid is a great opportunity. It's also something you're going to do every year that you're at UCCS. So you are stuck with me in my office for the next 4 years. If you want to go to grad school, next 6 years. So never feel like you're asking too many questions or that you're bothering us. It is absolutely the reason that we show up every day. So know that we're here to help you through, and don't ever think that you can't ask something. So just don't feel like you're in this alone. We will help you from the start that you are right now in applying for admission, and I will see you at graduation, either waving to you at in the hall or at some point, sometimes even announcing names. So like I said, you're stuck with us for 4 to 6 years. So please use us. Please know that we're here to help you through the process.
Before I give just a final send off, Javita, we see this often, and I think it's a good question to bring out. Not only like this, so Alyssa asks, are there any considerations for aid if you have 2 students entering UCCS? Same thing can be said for if you have 2 students in college in general. What's your advice to Alyssa and other parents kind of in that situation?
Well, one of the things to keep in mind is that the expected family contribution that does get calculated, one of the things that it is going to ask you on the FAFSA is how many people are in college. The reason for that is because that expected family contribution gets divided. So say you file a FAFSA and it says you have a 10,000 expected family contribution. If you have 2 in college, that then gets changed to 5,000. So, again, don't think that you shouldn't fill out a form, scholarships, all those other opportunities. Just know that the federal application does take into account that you have more than 1 student in school.
All right, we're wrapping up the last questions here. Javita, my final advice again is just the reminders of just do these things early. Get on this, don't hesitate, don't wait, use your winter break. Students, even though scholarships aren't available right now, start getting your resume in order, start getting a sense of, what have you done in terms of activities and involvements and what impacts have they had on people? What impacts have they had on you? Start develop a narrative of who you are, because I'll tell you, we read a lot of essays. We read a lot of applications. And the more you can put into words how you stand out from everybody else, it is a little bit of bragging. It's okay to brag. You've done great stuff. Be proud of it. Get those thoughts in order now. So when December 1st comes around or January 1st comes around, you finally get to it. You got that stuff thought about. And those are the things that can really form essays. They can prep you personally for interviews, possibly for some scholarships. Chancellor's Leadership class does an interview. The Kane Foundation does interviews. If you have those things thought out in advance, you're probably going to go a little bit better. So we hope you have gotten a lot out of this tonight. We will,
But there's one last question that has to do with a WUI student who is a nursing major. At this time, we do not have an automatic admission.
No, WUI nursing, we give them peak.
Oh, sorry. What?
Yeah, WUI nursing, they get peak.
Oh, okay. I misread the question. All right. So for automatic, however, one thing you want to keep in mind is that nursing, engineering, College of Business, these are colleges that have a lot of scholarship opportunities. So do apply for the scholarship application. You said the student was already accepted into the nursing program. So do fill out that scholarship application that opens on December 1st.
Okay. All right.
Cool.
We'll have more sessions throughout the year with various elements of campus that we think would be helpful. We can't stress enough, meet these deadlines. If you haven't toured campus yet, please tour. We are doing in-person tours Monday through Saturday. We've got an amazing virtual tour. If you can't get here quite yet, go check out that virtual tour. There's plenty of ways to set up appointments with myself and my team in admissions. Contact Javita's email right there for a one-off appointment regarding financial aid. Really anything else that we can help you with throughout this process. That's why we do these things. We put people behind these things. It's not all portals. It's not all applications. I promise you there are people, and those people answer those questions. So reach out to us with whatever you're curious about, whatever you need. But thank you so much for coming tonight. We really do appreciate it. And hopefully we see you on campus or connect with you via other webinars in the future. Javita, thank you. I appreciate you as always. Thanks so much for doing this. To all my behind the scenes crew, thank you as well. Vanessa, any last minute things, or do you want to say bye-bye? Did Vanessa say bye-bye?
Sorry, a little bit of technical difficulties. This recording will be on Facebook Live if you want to rewatch any parts. Thanks.
Goodbye.
Have a good night.
The outtake sections when we swear in bad words. My audio now. All right. Anything good for the order? We want these last 13 people to know before they exit. No, there's no sneaky post-credit. This isn't like a Marvel movie where there's a sneaky end credit scene.
Sorry, my computer's freezing up, so I'm trying to get it to shut down so I can close the webinar.
All right, I'm gonna leave. I'm hungry. It's supper time. And the wife made pot pie. I'm super excited. Thanks all behind the scenes. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you. Have a good one.